Welcome back, all my loyal patriots of Ireland. Today we have a really recent news story. This one just came out this morning. Okay, so basically a bunch of schools up there in Clare, I believe it is, were shut down. I think it was like 10 schools or something, or a few different schools were shut down because a bomb threat. Some crazy guy sent like a threat. Okay, it's alleged to be the email received by the school. I'm going to read out this email and then we're going to watch a news talk video after this. Of course, it's crazy to see, this kind of stuff is actually happening now. I mean, I knew 2025 was going to be crazy, but I didn't know it was going to be this crazy. Okay, insane, bro. A lot of people as well commented on this, a lot of famous people. James Kavanagh, presenter, he said, "You guys always have the worst pictures and screenshots of things for your sensationalism." And then Real News Era said, "James, stick to your makeup tutorials, leave the important stuff to me." Kind of funny. Yeah, man, you have these like basically new age sort of hippies up in Dublin, and they're mostly from Dublin. Some of them are from other parts of Ireland, but you have them kind of comment on like violence and news stories and stuff like that, crazy stuff. But yeah, this one is insane today. So anyway, this is the email that was received from the school, okay? "Hello, my name is Owen something. I remember his name from Middletown Road or somewhere in Ireland anyway. Tomorrow I'm going to be carrying out one of the most prolific attacks in Irish history. I will be armed with multiple firearms and I have placed items around every school that has been included in this email, and I will be targeting each and every school, and I will be successful in my plan. I just wanted to let this be known as I'll be sending a copy of my manifesto and I have already mailed it to the local newspaper and surrounding areas." Yeah, this text sounds like American ChatGPT or Russian propaganda. I'll just be honest. It doesn't sound real to me at all, okay? Saying firearms, saying, manifesto, local newspapers, that sounds like an American sort of thing. Second thing I noticed from that, why on earth would you send a forewarning for a surprise ambush to kill a bunch of people? Okay, if you're going to kill a bunch of people, let me tell you something. You're not going to tell them beforehand, okay? I don't know much. Well, I know a little bit about military intelligence and tactics, but, you're not going to send them an email. So, anyway, it came out to be a lot of bollocks, basically. And, yeah, the police obviously treat those real because you should treat every single threat real. Like, if someone's emailed you and said how they're going to kill you, I'm going to come to your house and murder you, kill you, you should take that as a credible threat. So the schools closed down from about 9 a.m. to about 11:30, and they kind of opened up again, which was good. The Gardaí, kind of looked into it, and they said that it was basically, nonsense. Okay, so we're going to listen to, of course, I know I hate to do it again to all my loyal, beautiful Irish people, but we're going to listen to News Talk, also known as Shite Talk, okay? This is Gardaí deemed bomb threat to Clare schools not credible after closures, but of course you should take all threats of violence credible. Now here we have a lady, okay, from News Talk. Not exactly sure what her name is, but she's one of the propaganda artists that props up the regime, let's just call it. And yeah, it seems like she has an opinion on this. I'm not sure exactly her background into military, police, sort of intelligence and whatever, but I would say I'm a lot more credible than her, just being honest with myself, to talk about sort of these sort of threats. Now, also, being a woman, she should probably be staying out of the violence. I wouldn't like to have, women involved in any of these violent situations. That's why a lot of the, Gardaí are men, unfortunately. I hate to say that, guys, but yeah, hopefully we're going to hear some good stories from her. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's see exactly what she says.
Say threats emailed to a number of schools in County Clare, forcing some of them to close earlier this morning, weren't credible. But they are investigating the incident, and Pádraig McMahon is the head of news for the Clare Echo. Pádraig is with me on the line. I believe this email was sent overnight, Pádraig.
Good afternoon, Andrea. Yeah, schools in County Clare became aware of the threat, which was made in the early hours of Tuesday morning. The email threatened that items were placed around a number of schools in County Clare, and the person who sent the correspondence claimed to be armed with multiple firearms. The threat stated that it would be one of the most prolific attacks in Irish history, and it also stated that a manifesto was issued to the local newspaper, but this was not received by the Clare Echo or any media outlet in County Clare, I'm led to believe. The threat was issued to an approximate dozen or so schools in the county, located in Shannon, 6 Mile Bridge and Ennis, who were then advised to close until 12 p.m. today. Some of them have reopened while others have remained shut for the entire day. Then shortly before 10 a.m, a spokesperson from Garda Síochána confirmed that the security threat was not credible and that there was no ongoing risk to the public. And then across County Clare this morning, Andrea, there was a sense of panic and chaos. shortly after 8 a.m. when content of the threat began circulating online, parents were pulling children from schools in other parts of the county where there was no threat in place, while there were significant traffic delays caused with congestion affecting those using public transport and attempting to go to work because people had arrived in school and then found out that their children were being sent home. So,
and good on them, and fair play to them. If I had kids and they were in any schools in Clare, I would absolutely pull them out that school that day, because that's just insane shit, guys. Like, that's just the craziest thing I've ever heard. Now schools are being targeted. We have every day in Ireland a new sort of crazy shit going on. We have some guy in Dublin ringing doorbells, stabbing people in the throat, in the neck, injuring 3 men up in Dublin. That could have easily been kids. You know, it could have been the November 2022 or whatever that was, November 2023 all over again. You know, crazy scenarios happening in the country. Seems like the security, to me, it seems like the security of the country is just going to only get probably worse. I'm not trying to scaremonger here like News Talk do all the time, but I'm more afraid about this kind of stuff. I'm not afraid of anyone, but I'm more wary and cautious about these sort of credible threats rather than a storm. Okay, like Owen. Storm Owen was the biggest thing in the world, but having a guy saying he's going to shoot up a school, it seems way more dangerous than anything like that, right?
I'm also been told that students in some of the schools actually left in tears, but that such was the level of panic and hysteria that was being caused as a result. I
can well believe it. I was talking to a couple of people I know in Clare earlier this morning, sent me on screenshots of this email that was sent with the alleged threats that you mentioned, and I've no doubt this has caused Pádraig well, more than a sense of concern, but a level of probably panic in parts of the county this morning.
Yeah, definitely there's been a sense of panic. Phones have been hopping and people are just really on edge. Primarily a fear of the unknown, because it's something, such threats are very rare in their nature, and schools wouldn't really be prepared for them. There were some staff that were actually in school, and then they were advised that an email had been issued, so staff were getting ready for their day of work, only to find out that they actually had to leave the building for their safety as well, which would have caused a sense of fear for them, but also their families as well. There's so many children and connected to all the different schools, and also the staff, so all their families, extended friends and whatnot were put on edge as a result of it. But since Gardaí came out around 10 a.m. with that there was no ongoing risk to the public and that the security threat was incredible, that sense of fear and concern has completely died down, and things are going back to normal.
Yeah, stay with me, Pádraig. We've Trudy with us on the line today. Trudy, I believe your children were in some of the schools affected.
Hi, Andrea. Indeed,
how are you?
Were. I'm recovering. I have to remind myself that it's not part of the detective series I watched last night, but it's reality, because who thought something like this would happen, in our own backyard?
I mean, exactly. Who would have thought things like this would happen in our own backyard? I mean, people in Ireland, guys, we're like asleep. Not me. I've been on this for the last 15 years. I'm very aware of the violence that can happen in the country. It seems like things are just only going to get worse. I hate to say that. Like I said, yesterday, 3 guys were stabbed in the neck. There was kids stabbed in them. There's people getting stabbed all the time. There's shootings going on. I mean, to me, it just seems like an escalation. I mean, I don't see why it could go back further. And if you know anything about crime and the escalation of crime, things only get worse. And there needs to be proper people in place to actually prevent against this stuff, or else something's going to happen and it's going to be pretty horrendous when it does. So, and also credible threats is a funny is a funny kind of misnomer. I'm laughing, and I was laughing in the beginning. I'll tell you why. Because I get threats all day long, guys. Like, I get some messages from people that are just crazy. I don't really ever talk about that, but because I don't care, I'm like pretty confident. I think I'm a pretty good guy to kind of handle myself. But if someone comes at you with a knife or a gun, it doesn't matter how well you're trained, man or woman. If you think you're a big guy, some guy comes at you with a knife or a gun. I did training before. We used to use markers, like whiteboard markers, as knives. We got stabbed all over the place, and these were black belts. So it doesn't matter how well trained you are. If you don't have, a gun or something to protect yourself, you're gonna die. Like, straight up, guys. So I don't really even worry about it. We're all gonna, we're all gonna experience, that someday. But I don't even worry about it anymore, because in Ireland, we're not allowed to defend ourselves. And I think the government, they're not doing anything about it. You're not allowed to defend yourself. It's crazy. This is the craziest setup we've ever had. And it's just like open place. People are pouring in. We don't know who's from where. There's no passports. sure, it's a free-for-all. Ireland is a straight-up free-for-all the last few years. And I actually remember the day it started. Like, I might just end this video because that's basically it. There're going to be a bunch of ramblings from a bunch of random people in the rest of this video. But I remember the day it started. It was like pretty much after the lockdowns, guys. Like November, you know, even 2019, 2020, 2021, things were still pretty good. Then after that, now it's been like a free-for-all, guys. It's been insane. It kind of started just before the lockdowns, but then when the lockdowns came out, it's been like a free-for-all, guys. I think the country's just, and it actually happened sooner than I thought. I said back in 2015 it's gonna turn into England and the same sort of crazy setup, but yeah, now is our time. This year is gonna be insane. I think it's just gonna be wild.
My little boy especially was upset because, you know, the miscommunication can go around. He's only 8. And he heard in his class that bombs had gone off in Shannon. So it was probably half an hour, 45 minutes before I got him home and talked to him that he told me that he thought that it was Russia or Israel or something had bombed Shannon.
God.
And his school is in the market on Fergus, which is very close to Shannon Airport, you know, 5-6 minutes away.
So this is
Wild
this
stuff.
is the kind of rumour that was going around and circulating. He said he's 8, Trudy, is he?
He's 8, so whoever mentioned it must have
Wild
just got
stuff.
wrong,
And it's
just
only-
heard it wrong, but it didn't stop, you know, his stomach was in bits, you know, he's okay now. I explained that it's actually an opportunity for schools to plan for the future and just in case anything happened, you know, but I had to play it down an awful lot, but, and it is ironic, Andrea, that today is Internet Safety Day, you know, and they
Oh
come out
wow, today is Internet Safety Day as well. How ironic, you're right.
of school with a little badge around their arms with Internet Safety Day, and you know this all came from the online world out to the real world today.
That was done on purpose, you know, obviously that was done on purpose by the perpetrator, whoever that person was, right?
So that's what's very worrying, you know. And I would be advocating and asking the government after this, and especially what's happening on higher international levels today, to follow the lead of Australia and to ban social media platforms for children under 16. Children's brains aren't fully developed until they're 21. So if they're having on a phone and looking and being influenced and groomed and everything at such a young age, what are they going to be like in their 20s when they're formed, you know?
You think we need a
I'd
stricter sort of an approach?
Yeah, this is just lefties talking again, guys. Ban everything. Ban the whole internet. Okay. Ridiculous.
You know, irrespective of today's incident, Trudy, just in general towards children and online safety.
Yeah, there is a great, formidable PR woman called Dr. Maureen Griffin. She's a forensic psychologist and she has worked with online offenders. And she has a training company now called MGMS Training. And she has this project. It's a pilot project at the moment. There are some schools involved and it's called the Agree to Agree project. Now, my children's school, we signed up to that. And it's an agree to agree. The parents agree with the teachers to, you know, push back on social media use and online use for national schools.
So when did you hear about this, Trudy, first this morning? You'd obviously dropped your wee lad off at school before you got wind.
Yeah, my little...
So, yeah, we'll end it right there, but I think it all happened literally before 2 o'clock in the morning. I think the emails someone said were sent at 3 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. So absolutely crazy. You know, you can't really account for that kind of stuff. I feel like this sort of threats and stuff that's happening every day now, it's just unbelievable, guys. Like, we don't know anything about them. You know, I think that there should be probably people telling us as well where it's coming from. You know, is it like what country this was, you know, sent from. The IP address is quite easy to send to kind of track the IP address, things like that. So we should kind of have a bit more transparency, find out where this stuff is from. But yeah, let me know your thoughts, everyone, my loyal Irish people. If you guys want to support me, check out the members of the channel in the description, guys. I have a membership as well. Check out my Patreon, loads of unblocked videos there. This year is crazy, guys. Like I said, I'm going to be putting out a new video every single day just on news stories, and yeah, try and keep up with the daily news, see what's going on, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man. Peace.